All right, everybody, welcome to another deep dive. This time, we're talking all about digital safety, and I mean really diving deep.
Yeah, especially looking ahead to what, 2025?
Exactly. 2025, it sounds so futuristic, doesn't it? But it's just around the corner. We've got some
Yeah.
fantastic source material.
Really interesting stuff.
Yeah, covering everything from cybersecurity basics and online privacy
Mhm.
to AI, financial security, and even physical security in our digital world.
I mean, I think when a lot of people think about digital safety, they think, okay, protecting my computer.
Right, right.
It's so much bigger than that now, isn't it?
It really is. And that's exactly what we're going to unpack today. And, we've touched on some of these things before in previous episodes, so listeners, you might be familiar with some of this.
Of course.
But the goal here is to get practical, right?
Absolutely.
Really actionable advice for staying safe in this increasingly digital world. And our sources have given us some great starting points. So yeah, let's jump right in. Let's start with the fundamentals. Cybersecurity basics. Yeah, we all know we need strong passwords. I mean, we hear it all the time, right?
It's like the first thing anyone tells you, change your passwords.
But what does that actually mean? What makes a password truly strong in this day and age?
Right, so it's not just about length. People used to say, oh, 8 characters is enough. It's more about complexity. You've got to think like a hacker. Imagine someone's trying to use a brute force attack to get into your accounts.
And just for our listeners who might not be familiar, what is a brute force attack?
So basically, they're just trying every single combination of letters, numbers, symbols until they crack your password.
So they just keep trying over and over again.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
if you've got a password that's, say, just 8 lowercase letters,
Mhm.
a hacker could crack that in like under an hour. It's really scary how fast computers are these days.
That's wild.
But if you start adding uppercase letters, numbers, symbols,
Right.
suddenly you're making it way harder for them.
So you're saying it could take years, even decades, to crack a really strong password.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, technology is always changing,
Right,
but
yeah.
making it more complex is your best bet.
Okay, so complexity is key. I like that. So a
Yep.
longer password, but also throwing in those uppercase letters, numbers, special characters.
Exact.
What about password managers? I feel like I hear mixed things about those. Are those safe?
Right. So they can be a game changer, especially if you have a lot of online accounts.
I mean, I've got so many I can't even.
Right. Who can keep track of all of those? But there are a couple things to keep in mind. The most important is your master password. The one that unlocks all your other passwords?
Right. Yeah.
That one has to be Fort Knox level security. We're talking like 16 characters minimum. And of course, the whole mix, uppercase, lowercase, numbers, symbols. And then make sure you're choosing a reputable provider, one that uses strong encryption, and ideally something called zero-knowledge security.
Zero knowledge security. Okay, break that down for us. What does that mean?
Yeah, so basically it means that even the password manager company, they can't actually see your passwords. So they're completely encrypted. Even if they get hacked,
Right.
your passwords are still safe.
Okay, so double check that your provider has that. Zero knowledge security. Write that down, folks.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
important.
So we're building up our digital defenses here.
Ah.
We've got our strong passwords or password manager.
Mm-hmm.
What else do we need to be thinking about in terms of cybersecurity?
Okay, so imagine this. You've got this fortress built, you've got your strong passwords,
Right.
but you also need to be able to spot the sneaky attacks, the things that are going to try and trick you, like phishing.
Phishing. Yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah.
Like those emails that pretend to be from your bank or something.
Exactly. So they look legitimate. They might even use logos and official language.
Right, right.
But they're trying to trick you into giving up personal information like your passwords or your credit card details.
Oh, yeah, like those you won the lottery emails I get all the time.
Exactly. That's a classic one. Always check the sender's address. If it looks weird or unofficial, it's probably a scam.
Red.
Big red flag. Watch out for any requests for personal data. A legitimate company is never going to ask for your password via email.
That's such a good point. I feel like sometimes I just get those emails and I'm like, oh, I should probably just do this just in case.
Nope. Never click on links in those emails. And be wary of any urgent language like, you need to act now, or your account is in danger.
Right. They try to create a sense of urgency.
Exactly, to pressure you into acting without thinking.
It's like they're playing mind games.
Yeah, they are. It's all about manipulation. If something feels off, it probably is.
Yeah, trust your gut on that one. Okay, so we've got our fortress. We're watching out for those phishing attacks. Now, let's talk about online privacy and social media.
This is a big one.
Yeah, it's a bit unnerving to think about how much information we leave online just without even realizing it.
Our digital footprint.
Yeah, exactly. Our digital footprint. It's kind of like a trail of breadcrumbs that we leave behind wherever we go online.
Mm-hmm. And anyone can follow those breadcrumbs.
So what are some things to keep in mind when it comes to managing our online privacy? What can we actually do?
Well, first of all, social media. I mean, we all use it. It's a great way to connect with people, but it's a data goldmine.
It is.
So take a look at your privacy settings. Most platforms allow you to limit who can see your posts, what information is public.
Right, right.
Spend some time tweaking those settings, making sure you're comfortable with what you're sharing.
And it's not just what we're actively posting.
No, it's also about data tracking.
Oh, yeah. Tell us about that.
So, those cookies websites use?
Mm-hmm.
They're not just there to remember what's in your shopping cart.
Oh.
They also track your browsing habits, what you click on, what you search for.
Oh, wow.
And that information can be used for targeted advertising.
Okay, so those ads that seem to follow you around the internet.
Exactly. And sometimes that data is even sold to third parties.
It's a little creepy, isn't it?
It is. It's like being followed by a digital shadow.
Yeah, a little bit. Okay, so be mindful of what we share on social media. Be aware of data tracking. Now, speaking of things that aren't always what they seem, let's talk about AI and misinformation.
Oh, boy.
It feels like it's getting harder and harder to tell what's real online.
It really is. I mean, have you seen those deepfakes?
I've heard about them. What are they exactly?
So basically, it's video footage that's been manipulated using AI, artificial intelligence.
Oh, wow.
And they can make it look like someone is saying or doing something they never actually did.
It's like they're putting words in people's mouths.
Yeah, and it's getting so sophisticated, it's almost impossible to tell the difference sometimes.
That's scary. And it's not just celebrities being impersonated anymore, right?
No, I mean, this technology can be used to spread false information, to manipulate public opinion.
It's like a whole new level of fake news.
Exactly, and it spreads like wildfire online.
So how do we protect ourselves in this world of deepfakes and fake news? It feels like we're constantly bombarded with information.
You have to be a critical thinker. If something seems too outrageous to be true,
Right.
it probably is. Check the source. Where's the information coming from?
Right.
Look for unusual URLs, like weird website addresses, and be wary of headlines that are designed to provoke a strong emotional reaction.
Oh, yeah, the clickbait headline.
Exactly. They're trying to get you to click without thinking critically.
It's like being a digital detective, always on the lookout for clues.
Exactly. You got to be savvy.
All right, from fake news to real money matters, let's talk about financial security. How can we keep our money safe online?
This is another big one because our finances are increasingly digital.
Right. I mean, I do pretty much all my banking online now.
Me too.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, secure your online transactions.
Okay, what does that look like practically?
Make sure you're using secure websites. Look for the HTTPS at the beginning of the web address
Okay.
and the little padlock icon.
Got it.
And again, watch out for those phishing attempts. They can target your financial information specifically.
Oh, right, like those emails pretending to be from your bank, asking for your account details.
Yeah, or maybe they'll say there's been suspicious activity on your account and you need to verify your information.
Oh, that's sneaky.
Right? So never click on links in those emails and never give out your financial information unless you're absolutely sure you're dealing with a legitimate source.
Okay, so double, triple check everything.
Yeah, when it comes to money, you can't be too careful.
That's true. And speaking of keeping our finances safe online, what are your thoughts on digital wallets?
Good question.
I mean, I've been a little hesitant to use them.
Yeah, I get it.
I'm not sure how secure they really are.
They can be very secure, but it depends on the type of digital wallet and the security features they offer.
Okay, so different levels of security.
Right. Look for wallets that use multi-factor authentication. It's basically an extra layer of security.
So it's not just your password.
Nope. You might also need to enter a code that they send to your phone.
Right, I've seen that.
Or maybe they use biometric data, like fingerprint scanning.
Oh, that's pretty high tech.
Yeah, it's all about making it harder for someone to access your account.
Right, so do your research. Choose a reputable provider.
Exactly. Don't just go with the first one you see.
Good advice.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about digital security, financial security. Now let's shift gears a little bit and talk about physical security in a digital world.
This is where the lines start to blur a little bit.
Yeah, it's a little unsettling to think that technology could be used to track our movements in the real world.
Right. I mean, think about it. Tracking devices are getting smaller and more sophisticated all the time.
Yeah, like those little tile things people put on their keys.
Exactly. And our smartphones, they have GPS, so they can track our location.
Right.
And sometimes we might not even realize that apps are accessing our location data in the background.
Like Big Brother is watching.
Yeah, a little bit. So be mindful of the permissions you're granting to apps.
Right. Do they really need access to my location, my contacts, my microphone?
Ask yourself those questions. And if you're not comfortable, deny those permissions.
Good advice. And what about smart homes? They're super convenient, but are they leaving us vulnerable?
Yeah, it's a trade-off, right? Convenience versus security. Smart home devices collect a lot of data about our habits, our routines.
Like when we're home, when we're not home?
Exactly. And if those devices aren't properly secured, that data could be exploited.
Oh, wow.
So make sure your home network is secure, use strong passwords for all your devices,
Right.
and be cautious about the data you're sharing.
Okay, so it's all about being aware of the risks and taking steps to mitigate them.
Exactly. And remember, technology is always evolving, so we need to stay informed.
It feels like we need a whole digital safety toolkit to navigate this landscape.
We do, and luckily, there are some great tools out there.
Oh, yeah. Tell us about some of them.
Okay, so VPNs, virtual private networks, those are great for encrypting your internet traffic.
Okay, so it's like putting your data in a secret code.
Exactly. Makes it way harder for hackers to intercept your information.
And what about encrypted messaging apps?
Those are great for keeping your conversations private, so
Yeah.
even the app company can't see what you're saying.
Oh, wow. That's good to know.
Yeah, and then there are personal safety apps, where you can share your location with trusted contacts in case of an emergency.
Right, right.
So it's like having a digital safety net.
Yeah, it's like we're assembling our own little digital safety squad here.
Exactly, and there are tons of other tools out there too.
Right, so do your research, find what works for you.
Exactly.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground today, from passwords to AI to physical security.
hmm
What's the most important thing for our listeners to take away from all this?
I think the key takeaway is awareness. We have to be proactive. We have to stay informed.
Absolutely. And, as technology continues to evolve, the digital landscape is only going to get more complex.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's important to keep learning, keep adapting, and always be one step ahead.
Couldn't agree more.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into digital safety. And here's a final thought for you to ponder. As technology continues to advance at lightning speed, what new digital safety challenges might be just around the corner? And what steps can you take today to prepare for the future? Think about it.
Yeah, that's a good one to think about.
Until next time, stay safe out there,
Stay safe.
and we'll see you on the next deep dive.
Bye, everyone.